In his re-election ad, President Reagan famously said, "It's morning in America." Well, in this re-election year, we can say for sure that the sun is out and shining bright. Record high stock market, lowest unemployment in 50 years, lowest in history for women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans. But those are just the well-known results. Look deeper. There's been more wage growth in almost every age group as Americans benefit from a pro-growth, pro-enterprise policy agenda. Politicians go on and on about the middle class. But look at the actual results. Between 2016 and 2018, the number of taxpayers making between $100,000 and $200,000 grew by 8%, while those making less than $25,000 fell by 5%. Why is this happening? In part because of the Trump policy strategy, different to anything we've seen before. He's taking traditional conservative ideas and combining them with new populist ones, appointing conservative judges and criminal justice reform, tax cuts and paid family leave, pro-business on regulations and pro-worker on trade and immigration, building up our military and standing up to China. But there's a personal aspect to this too, which I recognize from my experience. Unlike other TV hosts, I've run companies and worked in government, and so I know how hard it is to make change happen. Last week, I said Trump was different because he's not ideological, he's pragmatic. He's a problem-solving businessman. You saw that on display at the signing of that China trade deal. Now, this may seem like a small example, but it illustrates a big point. The president mentioned how there hadn't been July the 4th fireworks at Mount Rushmore for decades.
I said, "You mean you can't have fireworks because of the environment?" "Yeah, environmental reasons." I said, "What can burn? It's stone. You know, it's stone. It's ground." So nobody knew why. They just said environmental reasons. So I called up our people, and within about 15 minutes, we got it approved, and you're going to have your first big fireworks display at Mount Rushmore, and I'll try and get out there if I can.
You see, most politicians would just accept the establishment line. Sorry, you can't do that. It's a totally different mindset when you put an outsider in the Oval Office. That mindset is what's delivering results on deregulation, immigration and the border, trade, and all the rest of it. Here's another key point. This president loves business. I've never seen any politician call out such a long list of companies to praise like the president did last week. Here's just a brief example.
David Abney of UPS. UPS is doing very well. Darius Adamczyk of Honeywell, great company. Al Kelly, Visa. Al Kelly, thank you. Nancy Falotoko of Ford. Sanjay Murata of Micron, incredible company. Jim Morrison of Jeep. What a great brand Jeep is. What a job they've done. That is a great brand.
That attitude is how the president and Ivanka Trump have helped create 14 million new training places by working with the private sector instead of doing it through government bureaucracy. Critics say the president just wants yes people around him, but look at how he built his China team, starting with his ambassador, former Iowa Governor Terry Branstad.
I was going in to make a speech before the election, and he said, "Sir, please don't say anything bad about China." It's the first time anyone ever said that to me. And I said, "Who is this guy?" "He's the governor of Iowa. He just said, don't say bad about China." So I had to rip up about half of my speech, right? And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we do a lot of business." "Hey, man, I think I can go on the opposite side of the spectrum, perhaps, from the governor." His attitude's a little different. Our trade advisor, Peter Navarro. Right, Peter? He's a little different. We have all types.